world is getting smaller. Increasingly advanced technologies have enabled people from different regions, cultures and religions to communicate and share ideas and values. As one of the world's leading providers of coating solutions and active in more than 70 different countries on all 5 continents, Jotun stands as a potent symbol of our changing, interconnected world.
For decades, Jotun's logo has been recognized as a symbol of quality. It represents our quality products and our quality services, but it also represents our core values: loyalty, care, respect, and boldness. These values have guided us throughout our entire history, helping us build penguin spirit within the organization and in all corners of the world. To understand Jotun, we must look back into our past, a past shaped by successes, disappointments, triumphs, and tragedy, good and bad times. Jotun's history has given us a strong corporate culture, our guiding company values, our business principles, and a strong will to develop further.
Today, Dubai is a vital centre for Jotun's global activity. In fact, 2 of our 4 division headquarters are based here: Jotun Powder Coatings and Jotun Paints. The region has seen remarkable growth, creating rising demand for a broad range of coating solutions. From new homes to skyscrapers, arenas to supertankers, Jotun has become the region's preferred supplier of quality coatings and excellent service. Today, Jotun is the single-source solution for many of the region's landmark developments, working across borders to deliver products and services to some of the world's most memorable mega projects. Our enduring success in the region relies on our ability to both understand our customers and work to exceed their expectations. But to understand how Jotun has succeeded in the Middle East, we must go back to a very different time and place.
It all began in 1926 in Sandefjord, Norway. Once a bustling port town and home to a substantial whaling fleet. Like many other young men in Sandefjord at the time, the company's founder, Odd Gleditsch, served aboard a whaling ship where he learned firsthand how important paint was to protecting the hull of a vessel. He also knew that every summer, most of the whaling fleet would be laid up for repairs and maintenance. The young Gleditsch quickly recognized a promising market for marine paints, so he gave up a life at sea and opened a combined paint and marine provision store to supply the whaling fleet. The paint stores of the day were very basic. There were no ready-made products, just pigments, linseed oil and turpentine. But Odd Gleditsch wanted to do more than just market ingredients. He wanted to sell a complete solution. So in 1926, he took over the Jotun chemical factory to develop ready-made coatings, and a new industrial venture was born. Early in the 1930s, the company made a breakthrough with a product called Arcanol. Arcanol was quickly recognized as an innovation in marine paints, and Gleditsch had his first successful product, one that helped Jotun establish long-term relationship with ship owners. Jotun's early focus on marine coatings and long-term relationship with both ship owners and shipyards would eventually form a platform for Jotun's international success. The period between World War I and World War II saw a remarkable boom in Norwegian shipping, particularly in oil tankers and cargo liners. These vessels sailed throughout the world, delivering cargoes to distant ports. To ensure the Norwegian ship owners had access to marine coatings in these ports, Jotun began stocking paint in Europe, North Africa and the Americas. This development was not only good business, but exposed the company to exciting new markets. While still running a small company, based in a relatively modest port city, Odgleditch understood he served a global industry, and it wasn't long before he began to recognize new opportunities over the horizon. The internationalization of Jotun had begun.
The energetic, entrepreneurial spirit demonstrated by Odgleditch would soon help define the company. Indeed, as Jotun continued to grow in Norway, the company increasingly recognized fresh opportunities overseas, particularly in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Growth in the Middle East attracted the attention of the founder's son, Odgleditch Jr. Working with the Norwegian Export Council, he traveled to Libya and, impressed by the country's economic potential, became determined to build Jotun's first overseas factory. Fighting some initial skepticism, Odgleditch Jr. was able to get a small budget for the project and opened the company's first international factory in 1962. The process was a valuable learning experience. At first, bridging the culture gap with their local partners and workers proved a significant challenge for the Norwegian management team. Odgleditch quickly realized that the recipe for success was to demonstrate respect for the culture of the host country. In many ways, Libya served as a training ground for the internationalization of many of Jotun's senior managers. It gave the company's employees unique expertise working with different cultures and encouraged the whole organization to communicate openly, honestly, and with integrity. In time, Jotun's policy of hiring locally has created a more diverse workforce. This embracing of regional personnel not only helped Jotun penetrate local markets, but over time has added fresh ideas and perspectives to the company. The success of the project earned Odgleditch Jr. the complete confidence of Jotun's management, who went on to support his initiative to build a new factory in Thailand in 1967. In time, the factory in Thailand was able to lay the foundations for Jotun's enduring success in Southeast Asia. This pattern would be repeated in many other countries around the world, from the United Arab Emirates to Singapore, the United Kingdom to China. Jotun's growth has mostly been organic and built over time. This formula for expansion continues today, allowing the company to build its brand value in new markets. Such an approach requires a bold entrepreneurial spirit, patience, and an understanding and respect for local cultures.
Jotun's activities in China began in 1982 with a small trading office in Hong Kong. As China embraced a more market-driven economy, a representative office was opened in Shanghai, and the company formed a joint venture with the Chinese shipping giant COSCO, a successful relationship which would be expanded further in 2005. Jotun went on to establish another wholly owned company, Jotun Coatings, which built one of the group's single largest paint factories with an annual production capacity of 70 million litres. Today, Jotun has more than 1,000 employees in China, representing about 15% of the company's total workforce. Jotun manufactures marine, protective and decorative coatings and supplies professional after-sales technical services to its many customers. And with plans to open new facilities in the future, China may one day be the company's most important market. Not bad for a business which started with a modest trading office in Hong Kong in 1982. Jotun's rapid growth and international expansion in the 60s and 70s made the group more aware of its impact on the environment and the communities where it was active. During this time, Jotun helped pioneer the development of powder coatings, an environmentally benign coating solution for the industrial surface treatment of metals and other materials. Powder coatings are completely solvent-free. Efficient application using electrostatic spraying techniques avoids health risks and harmful emissions. And as more applications are discovered for powder coatings, the market continues to grow rapidly. Jotun is now a major international player in the powder coatings industry, with a number of production plants in Europe, the Middle East and Southeast Asia.
Closer to home, demand for household paints stagnated in the 1960s. The competition between rival suppliers in Norway became fierce. Generous credit terms, extra discounts, and expensive professional advice combined to undermine profitability. In addition, interest from competing paint companies based overseas threatened the independence of Norway's entire coatings industry. At Odd Gleditsch Jr.'s instigation, talks began with the other three main Norwegian producers. Many analysts doubted a merger of such complexity could succeed, but in 1971 the merger plans were approved. The new Jotun soon took shape and within a year launched a single product range and color chart. The new company proved a great success, and the combined resources and expertise of the organization quickly created new opportunities. Jotun applied a bold, innovative spirit when developing its decorative paints business. In the 1960s, only a limited range of ready-made colors was available. To provide customers with more choices, Jotun developed a revolutionary automatic computer-controlled color mixing system known as a multi-color machine in 1976.
We decided to launch a machine which was the most sophisticated the world ever had seen. But to find such a machine, we had to travel around the world, and mainly in the United States, where the tinting system was used for many, many years. But we didn't find a machine which met our requirements. So we had to start from the very first beginning with a company and developed our own machine. And that was a machine based on a light pen, which read the barcode to tint the colors. And that was the first machine launched, and it was a big success in Norway.
These machines were placed in stores with a range of tinters so that customers could choose between a wide variety of different shades. Multicolor heralded a revolution in color choice. For the first time, consumers could choose between several thousand different colors, and because the process allowed Jotun to move the last part of the production process from the factory to store, the company cut warehousing costs. The development of in-shop tinting machines changed how both the industry and consumers thought about paint. For Jotun, multicolor machines quickly became vital to the company's expansion into new markets.
But the 1970s also brought one of the most devastating chapters in Jotun's history. In September 1976, Jotun's largest factory and laboratory facilities at Gimle in Sandefjord were destroyed by a major explosion and fire. 6 people were killed and 11 injured in the company's worst industrial accident, a tragedy which had a deep and enduring impact on the company and forever changed how Jotun would approach worker safety. Many thought the accident would spell the end for Jotun. Despite these difficult times, Jotun managed to pull through the period following the catastrophe, and thanks to the remarkable efforts of the company's employees, Jotun got back on its feet relatively quickly. But management was determined to analyze the cause of the fire and implement design changes in the factory to minimize risk. The process and resulting investment in safety features in the new factory would influence the design and construction of all subsequent factories built by the company. Today, Jotun's efforts to ensure the safety of its workers remain a top priority. Another important development during this period was the development of the offshore oil industry in the North Sea. Over time, Jotun developed its expertise to become one of the world's leading suppliers of paint to the offshore industry. This marked the beginning of a focus on protective coatings. This is a business area in which today Jotun is a leading manufacturer and supplier of high-performance coatings. Jotun is specializing in corrosion protection and passive fire protection of steel, as well as protection and decoration of concrete. Meanwhile, a growing concern for the environment created demand for new low-solvent paints. Jotun engineers set to work and in 1983 launched a new generation of interior paints, originally known as Lord and Lady. Eventually, these products were brought together under the brand name Lady, which remains a market leader in Scandinavia. And today, about 50 interior products for the Scandinavian market have qualified for the official Nordic eco-label, the Swan, and the EU's eco-label, the Flower. The company's rapid growth in the 1980s required greater need for production capacity, resulting in the construction of a number of new factories in countries like Malaysia, Saudi Arabia and Oman.
The new millennium brought continued international expansion and innovation. Factories were opened or expanded in Dubai, Indonesia, Yemen, Vietnam, South Korea, China and India. Exciting new products were launched including C Quantum, a high-quality anti-fouling coating, and Sense, an innovative low-emissions hypoallergenic interior paint. In an increasingly globalized world economy characterized by rising demand for energy, transportation and infrastructure, Jotun continues to identify exciting new markets, strengthen existing operations and expand into new regions. These new market realities have changed how Jotun operates. Today, project teams work across borders and segments to deliver on large projects. Research and development teams for all 4 market segments work together, and all new employees from sales and marketing personnel to technical advisors and management trainees are encouraged to participate in structured training and career development programs to strengthen Jotun's competence. But for all of Jotun's remarkable growth, the company's enduring success cannot be measured in litres of paint. It is Jotun's more than 7,000 employees who have carried Jotun's penguin spirit to all parts of the globe. Today, Jotun is in the hands of a 3rd generation of the Gleditsch family, with Odd Gleditsch DI now chairman of the board and part of the team charged with looking after Jotun's future.
While Jotun will continue to grow and change in the future, we recognize that our pursuit of excellence is not about the destination, but the journey. In the meantime, we remain committed to investing in our logo with our core values, loyalty, care, respect and boldness, which have defined the company for more than 80 years.